All right, Skylar and then Steven to start.
Hey, Coach. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, we saw the social media team put out the mic'd up video with Zach Kerr, and just seemed like an energetic kind of guy on the field, and kind of crazy at times. Is that kind of how he is all the time? And how much of a leadership role do you think he will assume now that KK's out?
Well, I mean, Zach loves the game. He loves to play. I think anything you saw would be genuine. Wasn't certainly not a show. I mean, he loves to play the game. He has energy. His exploits on the field goal team, the things he says, to the other team, hey, your shoe's untied or take this play off. You guys have been talking about all year. I think he's a guy that the players really respect and like, and love to be around. So he's a very valuable part of this team.
Hey, Coach, I wanted to ask you something about what you said yesterday on watching the tape on Robbie Anderson. When you were under consideration for the Jets job, did you take an extensive look at what Robbie Anderson had done up to that point, or was most of your work on him in the lead up to free agency earlier this year?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't look at him prior to taking this job and getting here. So all my history with him was either coaching him in college or seeing the tape of the names that was provided to us by the pro personnel department, of which he was one of the top names.
All right, let's go to Jonathan Alexander and then Miles Simmons.
Hey, Matt. Hope you're doing well. I'm curious, will you be more likely to, add a kicker when Joey does come back, add a kicker to the practice squad?
I haven't even thought about that. I think we've just been kind of monitoring this situation as it goes, how things will be moving forward. Everything's been happening here pretty quickly, as I'm sure you can imagine. So we've been just managing the situation.
Hey, Matt, what kind of challenges does Taysom Hill present, just given his versatility and all the positions he plays?
He presents a lot of challenges. He's a great player. He's a great quarterback. He can line up and do a lot of things, both on special teams and on offense. He continues to add to their versatility of offensive personnel packages. So he can play a traditional role, non-traditional role. Excellent player.
All right, let's go to Phil Orban and then Jason Huber.
Hey, Matt, I don't really know if there's anything to this, but as you're building this team, right, and you're in this kind of difficult situation all year with COVID, can it help you in kind of figuring out how your guys can handle stress? Handle stress or handle these challenges that are thrown at them, as opposed to a normal year if you're coming in year one and kind of trying to start from scratch.
I don't know if it says a lot I don't know if it teaches us a lot about the players. Maybe it does. I haven't really thought about it. I think it's made players who are versatile more valuable, and I think that's a great lesson. I think it's as a staff, however, I think our ability to adapt, to change, to go, to reverse course from one day to the next, to adapt and change and all the same words. I think it'll make us a way better staff because you're having to literally day by day make new moves, make different things, and none of it's real easy. You have to really think through it.
And if I could follow up, does it make it like when this is all over, can you imagine that things will be much easier and you'll have a lot less of this type of stress and you'll be allowed to kind of expand will it be easier to be a head coach when this is all over, I guess? And what lessons will you take from it?
I sure hope. But, for what it's worth, I'm having a great time. I think this is, I'm enjoying every second of being the head coach here and working with these guys. And that being said, the challenges are real. But, I think when you've been a college coach and you've coached in the group of five, you take over a place had been a little bit of trouble. You learn to be very adaptable and just take one day at a time. So I think those lessons have served me well. But I do think some of the protocols and constraints that are placed upon us right now, which make it difficult, I think when those are lifted, I think I'll have been a better coach, and I think our whole staff will be better coaches for having gone through this. So from that perspective, I'm hopeful that that it will in fact be easier.
Hey, Matt. I know you guys, we're not sure yet whether or not Michael Thomas will suit up this weekend, but aside from that, guys like Emmanuel Sanders and Traquan Smith, I mean, the receivers haven't been, I mean, Alvin Kamara is their leading receiver, as productive as a guy like Michael Thomas would, but what do you see out of that receiving group and that you will need to keep an eye on if Michael Thomas doesn't suit up this weekend?
Well, I mean, they've played four games in this fashion, and you see those guys, doing a great job within their offense, and you see the ball spread around. As you said, obviously Alvin Kamara is a great player and he's a focal point, and a lot of plays are called for him, but the ball is being spread around to a lot of different guys right now. And, that's the makings of a great offensive system, a great quarterback, a great play caller. So, Michael Thomas, when he plays, obviously adds another variable, another great player. But I think what you're seeing right now is you're seeing those other guys, they've stepped up, and, that production that's normally, gone through him is just, been kind of dissipated to those other guys.
Let's go to Joe Person and then David Newton.
Matt, wondered if you had any update on Rhule, and then also what day are you guys anticipating working the kickers who are going through the testing?
The kickers, I think they're I'm allowed to talk about that, right? Yeah. I mean, I think the testing date, it's really just because of the testing date. So I think it'll be before Sunday, provided all the testing goes well. And then the first part was who? I'm sorry.
Rhule.
Oh yeah. Rhule, was not here today. He was not, not injury related. That's really all I can say about that.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask pretty much the same question. Do you anticipate having Rhule on Sunday, or
just gonna have to monitor it and see how it goes? I'm not sure, to be quite honest with you.
Okay. Another one I was going to ask you, when the team was 0-2 and you saw the way they responded, anything you're seeing similar this week and how they're responding to the loss to Chicago?
I think they practiced well. Obviously, none of us liked Sunday, so. But I thought we practiced well last week and the week before. I mean, we just have to go. We just have to, bring it to fruition on Sunday versus a great team. But I've liked our focus and our energy all week, and I think we look like a good football team as of right now in terms of the things that we're doing. So we'll finish it up, Friday, Saturday, and get down there and just go out there and hopefully play a great game.
Let's go to Elena Getzenberg and then Steve Reed.
Hey, Matt, I was just curious, if John Miller can't go Sunday, who are you kind of looking at to go start at guard, if you can say, or just how do you look at the depth you have available at guard this week?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, I'm hopeful that John will play. That being said, if anything happened to one of our guards, Dennis Daly was the starter all through camp before he got hurt. He's available. Scott and Larson obviously are not with us right now. They've been backups. And then we have guys like, Sam Tecklenburg, Mike Horton. Those guys can go inside. So I think, within our roster, both guys are available and not. There's a lot of guys there that, depending on when we need them, would be really good players for us.
If I can just follow up on that, Dennis is someone who hasn't been active yet, I don't believe, for a game. Is there anything that, since he's been healthy, how have you evaluated how he's been doing in practice?
Yeah, I mean, there's healthy in terms of back and on the roster, and then there's, back to full speed. And I thought, he was close this past weekend. He was full speed. It was just a matter of, some of our other guys and injuries just needing to make sure we had other positions. He's someone that, we anticipated being active this week. And, to me, Dennis Daly's a starter. I mean, he was a starter all camp. There, just suffered an unfortunate injury at the wrong time. And luckily with the way some other guys have played, he didn't have to rush back. So, if and when Dennis is called upon, I won't blink twice.
Hey, Matt, you talked about process and getting better every week. And, that was kind of your goal with this team, was just get better every week. What do you, I know it's kind of, you're in the middle of the season, but if you look back over 6 weeks, what are you most pleased with? What things do you guys see that the team's got to get better at?
Well, I'm most pleased with the growth of our defense. We early on, we didn't look like we were going to stop, make a lot of stops. And, now, the last couple of weeks, I think we played good defense. We've taken the ball away. We're getting better at third down and doing that, having, lost a couple of our, key players and some young guys stepping up. So I like the mentality on defense. I like the way that they're improving. I've liked our special teams improvement. They get better, week in and week out, and it's not perfect yet, but they play well. And that's what I wanted from the very beginning. I wanted us to play complementary football, an offensive, defense, and a special teams that all complement each other. And I just think, in terms of things that we have to get better at, we have to be better in terms of taking the ball away and protecting the football. When we protect the football and take it away, when we win the turnover battle, we usually win the game. And when we don't, we don't win the game. So I just think our focus on properly protecting the ball and at the same time on defense and special teams attacking the ball is something that, we just have to make so pervasive, throughout the entire franchise.
Next question will go to Josh Klein, followed by Skylar Bellingham.
Hey, Matt, I wanted to ask you about moving guys around in the lineup in terms of how many reps they get. Is that something that you see in practice? Like a guy has a big week in practice and you say, we got to get him on the field. Is it things that you see during the game that you say, maybe it's time to look at somebody else? Like, how does that process work for you and the coaching staff?
It's hard for me to be real specific without knowing if you're talking about a specific, thing. I think, in a specific situation, I think in general, we try to see what people do in practice to, project to what they'll do in the games. Once someone has a chance to play in a game, even if it's a small role, if they master their role, they usually take on a new role. So, guy goes in there, he plays 3 or 4 plays on special teams. He does it well. Maybe then he moves up and he plays 10 or 12, then he develops a role on offense or defense. So I think it's a combination of all of those things. And then obviously in a year like this, where we've had, some injuries, where we've had some guys go on the COVID list, some guys are just moving up as a result of opportunity. That being said, there's lots of guys on this team that the only thing that's limiting them from greatness is just the opportunity, right? They're in a certain role. Someone else is in the role that, has a greater role. And if they ever got that opportunity, they would fulfill it as well. So I think we just try to do a good job of having a vision for each player and where they fit, rewarding the guys who do it right in the games, and then having confidence in our guys whenever, someone's injured, trusting that the next man will step up.
Just if I can follow up, sorry, Skylar, I apologize. Just to drill down a little bit to kind of tell you what I meant is, like, for the first couple of weeks, obviously, or for the first probably 4, 5, 6 weeks, you didn't have a preseason. You didn't get to evaluate these guys on the field. But if there is somebody out there that maybe you don't like what you're seeing out there on the field, at what point do you make that decision to kind of peel back their reps?
Again, it's just in relation to what the options are, if that makes sense, so it's like, if I have a certain standard for what I'm looking for at a certain position, and if someone's not playing to that level, I keep trying to coach that guy and help find ways to get them to do it. At the same time, I also have to look at, what the options are in terms of, is there someone else that can go do that? Does that make sense? Like, so if I have player A and player B and they're pretty much similar, and I put player A in and they're not getting it done, I just easily kind of put player B in. If I don't have a great feeling about who that backup is, then it's a little bit harder to do. So I think it's all sort of one-offs, that you have to see from situation to situation.
Hey, Matt, New Orleans has done really good at taking away the run game. I think they only give up 3.5 yards per carry. You guys had 3.9 yards last week. Is there anything in particular that you see on film that they just do a really good job of taking away?
Yeah, they're a good defense. They've got really good players. They have a good scheme. As you said, they take away the run, they limit explosive runs, and they pressure the quarterback at a really high level. And sometimes you have teams like they can pressure the quarterback, but they can't stop the run, and vice versa. But this is a team that does both. They're multiple in what they do, I think, which allows them to hey, they can play run defense and then quickly get to a package and rush the quarterback. So there's a lot of challenges there, both personnel wise and schematically, that we have to be ready for.
Guys, we have time for 3 more. So let's go to Joe Person and then Jonathan Alexander and finish with Jason Huber.
Matt, a big chunk of your COVID guys are from the offensive line room. I'm just wondering how kind of, if you've monitored your offensive line coaches, how they're doing, and if you're able to say if you've had any staffers positive this week.
Yeah, like I said last week, I'm not able to talk about people in the building and their health and all that stuff. So, I think you can reach out to Bruce if there's anything beyond that, but I'm not in that position.
Hey Matt, is Eli Apple at a point where he would be a full go in the game, or is he just coming off the injury? Do you want to ease him back in?
I mean, I think he's right. I think he's getting close to being ready to play. So, how big that role is, it's kind of like the question I answered a few minutes ago. It's where he is in relation to the other guys, and how healthy they are. Obviously, as we're looking at Rhule right now and seeing what his situation will be. So, but Eli was he was available last week, and we waited one more week, and I'd say based on practice, this week, he he's got fresh legs and he's ready. He's ready to play. So I think it'll just depend on where we are with the other guys, and certainly when a guy comes back, you'd love to ease him in, but that's not that's maybe not the situation that we're in, and sometimes. So, but I think that'll depend not on him. I think he's done everything right. It'll just depend on where the other guys are.
Hey Matt, I was going to ask the same thing about Eli, but following up on that, how kind of anxious are you to see him, and how, what would he bring? Like, have you seen him kind of working with the guys so far, in practice while easing back? Like, how much are you looking forward to getting him back?
I want all of our guys to be healthy. I've seen Eli work hard to come back, so I'm happy for him that he's finally healthy. I'm probably, I don't want to, I want to make sure I respect the guys that have been playing and, battling and taking a lot of reps. I mean, I think they've done a good job. So, but I'm happy. I'm happy for Eli that he's back. And again, he has, we still have 2 more days of practice. He has to get through those and be ready for the game. So, but I like where his head is. I like where his, body is. And, if he gets an opportunity this weekend, I have a lot of confidence. I think he's going to play well.
All right, Coach, we appreciate you taking the time.
All right. Thanks, guys.